there was and maybe this is a good segue, is that there was a Intelligence Squared debate. And I think I've shared this with you too. Intelligence Squared is this debate in Britain that has 2 or 3 people on one side of the aisle and 2 or 3 people on the other, and then they have a moderator and they debate it. And the question there was, police are too militarized today. And since you were in charge of vehicles, you had, let's talk about that for a sec. Dude, and again, we can just be specific to Santa Rosa. Was Santa Rosa Police Department too militarized?
No.
Yeah.
So a lot of that discussion comes from the government's 1033 program. And that's a program that allowed municipalities, counties, cities, states to receive certain surplus military equipment. I know that our department didn't participate in that program for the last, I don't know how many years that I was there. I don't know about before I started paying attention to that. The only equipment that I saw in our department was some really super antiquated night vision stuff. And when I saw it, they were actually getting rid of it because nobody had used it for years.
Okay.
But, you know, the accusations and the misconceptions about, you know, oh, they have a tank. Okay, that's not a fucking tank. All right. A tank has treads and a big fucking gun on it. Okay.
Yeah.
Police departments don't have tanks. We do have ARVs, armored rescue vehicles. Okay. We have one here in this county. That is an essential tool. If you want the police department to resolve barricaded suspect issues, let's say somebody, whether it's hostage or no hostage, let's just say it's a barricaded subject, going to kill himself or kill somebody else, doesn't like the police, doesn't want to go to jail, whatever the story is, right?
Yeah.
Why would you be against our officers resolving that situation close enough that they could actually communicate with the person inside a vehicle that is armored? What is wrong with that? Or what if we have a police officer who was one of the first responders and they got shot and they're laying on the ground between, you know, in the front yard?
Yeah.
We don't get the use of an armored vehicle to go in there and rescue that officer. We have to just go ahead and do it. I mean, we already have bulletproof vests, right? That's the argument is, well, we already give them bulletproof vests. They can just run in there and, no, we're going to use the everything to our advantage. But unfortunately, the narrative out there is, oh, they have a tank. And it's not a tank. I mean, just Google LAPD tank. And literally every picture that comes up, if you click on images, is of an armored rescue vehicle, not a tank.
That's and this is, it's when anything goes viral. And this is another thing that I witnessed within the police officers that were talking. They said in 2017, anything that goes wrong with any police officer in any department in any state is on steroids. And so then everyone says, oh, the police are bad across the board. The one thing I will offer up is that there was a tank used in Keene, New Hampshire. It had population 224,000 people. And it actually had an armed tank to guard the Pumpkin Festival. And the reason for that was, and again, it's an anomaly. I get it. But that was where people glom onto and say they had a tank at a Pumpkin Festival. So that was the 1033 stuff. They're also talking about bayonets, right? Because this is all part of the false narrative. Yeah. The police officers and departments have these tanks and they wear camouflage gear and they're carrying military weapons. What is the weapons? What weapons did you and your officers use, to be specific? Because that would be good to talk about.
Well, okay. So the standard issue on everybody's holster, their sidearm, their, what do they call it in the movies? Your duty gun, I guess you call it.
Yeah.
Your issued piece. We used over the last, I guess, like 10 years. We were issued a Glock 17, which is a 9mm.
Okay.
Just a standard, regular old 9mm. We also carry like an AR-15 in the car. It's semi-automatic, not fully automatic, and shotgun, a 12-gauge shotgun, which we have. So those are the firearms. And we also have a 40mm in each car. I don't know if they have them in every car, but almost every car, which is a 40 millimeter. It shoots a foam projectile. It's about 40 millimeters, about that big. Yeah. It's a foam baton round, basically. It's actually a very effective tool to help resolve situations.
For what? Like what situation would that tool be used for? Because I don't.
Let's say you got a guy who is threatening to harm himself with a knife. He's got a knife to his throat. I'm gonna fucking kill myself. I'm gonna kill myself. Yeah. Would you rather run up to that person to stop them from killing themselves and maybe hit them with a baton or try to tackle them or something, or stand about 25 feet away and shoot them with a foam baton that's really going to stun them? Shoot them in the shoulder, shoot them in the thigh, somewhere that's big and meaty like that. And
so it just hurts. It's like it's like a really bad Charlie horse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. That
makes sense.
A good tool. And then they're not used that much anymore because they were never that effective. The 40 millimeter is a lot better, but we do have an additional 12 gauge shotgun in a lot of the cars that we shoot a beanbag round out of. Okay. And those rounds are to keep people from doing whatever they're doing when we don't want to jump right in there. When it puts ourselves or somebody else in danger, it allows us to kind of stun the person with something that's really just going to cause